do you know what GOAT means? G-O-A-T? How about EGOT? E-G-O-T. How about E.A.T? Not the food one, the other one. This is some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about how important it is for your business that you establish yourself as an authority and all the things that go around it and why and all that kind of good stuff, because it has a direct impact on your business, your customers, and your bottom line. So here we go. Okay, so let's start with the first one. EGOT. You know what an EGOT is? Hey, Stuart on Mixer, how you doing? Do you know what EGOT is, Stuart? Do you know what GOAT stands for? How about E.A.T? So we're talking about things that are important to your business that are not necessarily tangible. And I will warn you up front, right away, this is not stuff that is quick fix, right? This is stuff that you have to work on, you have to build, you have to lay a foundation and keep going from there. But it is totally worth it because of the positive impact it has on your business, on your customers, on your bottom line, and on your own personal branding, if that is what you are into. So first of all, let's talk about EGOT, right? So let me make sure I get this right. So EGOT stands for, is how they refer to somebody who has won the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony. EGOT. And GOAT stands for greatest of all time. Derek Jeter made it into the Hall of Fame. That one person who didn't vote for him, not happy with. But what's important is he's there. And for the purposes of our businesses, EAT is what we're here to talk about. So let me get this up and started. It would be that button. There we go. Okay, so let me make sure I've got all my stuff turned on. And of course I didn't. Or did I? Hang on. I don't think I did. Okay, now we're all turned on. So we're going to talk about EAT. Okay, so EAT is really the core of why people do business with you. But in this particular instance, this also has a lot to do with the SEO that you're going to get for your website, which of course is a big part of all of our businesses, right? So EAT stands for expertise, authority, and trust, or authoritativeness and trustworthiness, depending on who you talk to. But at the core of it, that's what it comes down to. And why are these three words so important? Well, expertise, of course, right? That refers to the concept of someone having expertise or skill or knowledge in expertise means that you have expert skill or knowledge in a particular field or industry. What it is, it's how deep your knowledge is, how effectively you apply it, how willing you are to share it, and how you are able to share it with people who are not at that level. So that is obviously very important. Authority or authoritativeness, however you want to refer to that, is all about people being able to, feeling like they can trust you, that the information, the goods, the services that you provide to them are accurate, true, reliable, right? And then, of course, trustworthiness is all about whether or not people feel like they can trust you, right? It's the difference between that sleazy used car salesman, right? The stereotype you see on SNL all the time, or somebody that somebody feels good about doing business with, recommends because of the positive experience that they've had with them, or because they've heard from other people about how trustworthy they are. So that's the core of what we're talking about tonight. Now, what's interesting is this has always been a part of human interaction, right? This has always been a part of how people do business, right? Whether it's official or unofficial business, this is what it comes down to. People want to work with people that they feel that they can trust, that they see as an authority, right? And see as an expert in their area. Now, let me put this in real life context for you, right? So if you got the feeling that your accountant was a little shady, was not up on all of the latest tax code, or if you found out that you went to go work with this new accountant and you found out that 2 days before he started working as an accountant on your account, maybe he was, a chef, something that's just not related at all to keeping your taxes and your business afloat and legal and all that kind of good stuff. That's going to take you back a bit, right? You're going to be a little bit unsure now because you're like, well, wait, I hired you because you were advertising yourself as a tax authority, and now I'm finding out that you've had 48 hours in the business. I'm not so comfortable with that now. Also, why was that not communicated up front? So all these questions start to bubble up. And as soon as that happens, the trust is broken. And trust, once it's broken, is almost impossible to get back. It's certainly not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of time. So you want to make sure that when you are out there and you are representing your business or whatever you're using, whether it's ads or whatever marketing materials you're using, anything you're doing on social, you want to make sure that you are always presenting the very best version of yourself and your business, and that you are being completely consistent and upfront, and you are building trust, authority, and expertise. You're communicating that across everything that you're doing. So why doesn't this just happen, right? I've been in business for X number of years. I've got happy customers. I don't have to do any of that. I'm sorry, but that's not the way the world works. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take steps to make this all happen. So let me just bring our thing back up here. Let me take that away. Okay. So as I said, E.A.T stands for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, or expertise, authority, and trust, depending on how you want to look at this. The E.A.T thing is a fairly recent, past couple of years, acronym that people have started to use because Google refers to this in all of their SEO materials lately. So this is a part of the basis of how Google evaluates your website, as part of how they decide the SEO for your business site, right? Or any website. If you do not follow the rules, if you don't present a trustworthy site, if you're doing things that they deem sneaky, and they've got, I think it's a 500-page document that you can go through and read about all this kind of stuff, but you know what I'm talking about, right? If your site is not being updated, if it's got bad malicious code embedded in it, if you're doing link baiting, right? These are things that are not trustworthy. These are things that are not going to add up in your favor, right? So that's going to reduce you in the SEO. But you know what? While maybe, a person who's visiting your site is not necessarily aware of bad code or malware, they may see the end results of that and be just as unhappy with you as Google is. So that's why I'm kind of mixing these two together, because the one feeds the other, but they're also completely intertwined. Because if you don't have any of these things, then the odds are you are not getting the business traffic that you could be or should be. So you want to make sure that everything you're doing is consistent, everything is building on these three criteria, right? So that you're giving your customers the best possible reason to do business with you over a possible competitor, right? It's absolutely going to build your website, because you're going to use that and social and these other things that we'll talk about in a minute to help build that, right? And when those two pieces are in place, right, when you've got happy customers or even potential customers and you've got happy SEO, your message is getting out there, right? Because you're showing up better on the search engines, because your customers, potential customers, are talking well of you, recommending you to other people, maybe linking to you. All of this builds and feeds on itself. But you've got to maintain it. It's got to be nurtured. Think of it almost like a garden, right? You can't, in the middle of a drought, stop watering your tomato plants. You will end up with no tomatoes. It's just like that. Yes, I'm looking forward. It's cold and damp and rainy here today, so I'm dreaming of spring and planting my tomatoes and all that. So, but that's, if analogies work for you, that's a good one that I've got for you right here now. This E.A.T, right? This expertise, authority, and trust. This is something that needs to be cultivated, and it needs to constantly be maintained so that it will continue to grow for you and your business. So, great. I'm on board, right? You're saying, Kath, I am on board. I totally get this. I want to do this. What do I do? Where do I start? Okay, I'm a little business. I'm a medium business. I'm very local. How do I get word out about me? I got you covered. It's not that any one of these things is hard, and it's not that you have to do all the things that we're going to talk about. But pick one, pick two, start doing it, and then continue to build off of that. Be consistent about it. So don't get overwhelmed. I'm going to throw a bunch of ideas at you because there's no one quick fix, right? There's no one magic solution, but you've got to pick the ones that work best for you, that fit best for your business, and then go from there. So let's get started. So first and foremost, and this is something that everybody needs to do, okay? First of all, come on. You need to have a website. You really, really do. It's not hard. It's not overwhelming. You can hire somebody to do it for you, but you're still going to have to provide them with information and what you want on it. But you need to have a website. I don't care if it's a one-page website. That's fine. Get yourself a good domain. Get yourself a website up there. That has to happen. Okay. You got it, right? Okay. So, assuming now you've got your website, one page or more. Facebook does not count. Okay? Because Facebook is a walled garden. It's fine to have a Facebook presence. It's good to have a Facebook presence. And it's good to use that and cultivate that. But you have to have a website also, because there will be people that will never go into Facebook. There are people who never leave Facebook. You've got both sides of the coin there, but you need a website, okay? And then once you've got it, you want to make sure that you add, if you don't already have it, or update your about page on a regular basis. Or if it's a one page, the about section. Anytime I say page, it could be a section on a one page site, whatever works for you. But you will need to add to that. You need to add it, and you need to make sure that you are updating it on a regular basis. People are going to say, well, but my information doesn't change. Change the style of it, change the tone of it, add more information, rearrange things. When you put your website out there, you can't just put it out there and let it sit for 10 years. Okay? That's a part of how people view things and how the search engines view it. If they see something that has been exactly the same for months on end, it starts to feel dusty, and it feels like you're not paying attention. Okay, and that's the last thing that you ever want anybody to think about you and your business, right? You don't want anybody to think that you're not paying attention to your business. So make sure that you go out there and you're updating it. If you haven't already got a blog, create a blog. If you already have it, post to it on a regular basis. Increase the frequency. If you're only doing it once a quarter, go to once a month. If you're doing it once a month, try once a week. Schedule them out. It doesn't have to be stressful. But again, you want to see activity. People want to see fresh content. So do the search engines. So like I said, these two things go hand in hand right down the line. If you have a team, create or update your team page. Do maybe a feature on one of your team members sometimes. And when I say team members, it doesn't have to be direct reports. It doesn't have to be people you hire. It could just be people you rely on, right? If you've got a graphic designer that you love, go ahead, put up a team page and give her him a little free publicity, right? Get that goodwill out there. Also, it's updating your website and getting other information. Also, then when you do that, they're even more likely to link back to you, which is a good thing too. Always keep it up to date. Always go in and refresh it. Change it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a complete redesign every time, right? Just add a page or add a new paragraph to something. Just something to keep it fresh and up to date. And this is the other part of it, promote your website. You'd be surprised how many people get the website, they get the content up there, they're updating it, but they don't tell anybody it's there. Now, people will find it through search engines, but you can't rely on that as your only means. So make sure that your website URL is on your marketing material, your business cards, your invoices, your receipts, that you're doing, giveaways of stuff, whatever it is that you want to do with it. But make sure people know that it's out there. Did I say business cards? Make sure it's on your business cards. Have shirts made with the URL on the back. Whatever it takes. But make sure that you're constantly putting it out there. And this, again, is not just a once thing. Like any other kind of advertising or marketing, you've got to keep doing it because, you get to what is it? It's awareness and then trust and then curiosity, and then they come to do business with you, right? There's a ladder that people have to climb before they're going to come do it. Just because you put one business card up in the library on the bulletin board doesn't mean that you're suddenly going to get 5,000 people come stampeding to your door, virtual or real. It takes time. You have to build it. So make sure that when you have your website and you're updating it and it's got fresh content, that you are then also promoting it. These are important things. Oh, and hang on. For you people out there right now who are going, I don't have any idea what I would put out there, I got you covered. Okay, it's all about taking away excuses tonight. Okay, if you need content ideas, I've got 130 of them for you for free. Sign up for the mailing list, yourtechcoach.net/content ideas, one word, no spaces. And then you will get 130 free ideas for content. So if you're doing it, once a week, you're over 2 years of content. Okay, so it's really not as hard to think. And once you start doing it, you will start to just have ideas pop in your head during the day. Make sure you write them down so you don't forget. But do go yourtechcoach.net content ideas and make sure that you take advantage of the content ideas list that I put together for you. It just makes life easier, and that's what I'm here to do. All right, let's take that away. Here we go. So, create, if you haven't already, and post often on your Google My Business page. Are you aware that you can do this? I think that you are. If not, I've done a show about it. I just realized I can't switch because of how I'm presenting right now. But Google My Business page, and I know it's an awkward name, but that's what it's called. If you search for Google My Business, it'll take you through. Super easy to set up. I will say that, yes, it still feels a little bit skewed towards brick and mortar, but those of us who are just online, you can make it work for that. Claim your My Business page. Put whatever information you want in there. What a lot of people don't realize is that you can also post to it. So take, like if you're doing a blog post, and maybe a couple of days later, go to your Google My Business page and put that blog post there. Or if you're doing live streams or whatever. But whatever content you want to put on your website, you can also put in Google My Business, again, to increase the odds, right? Cast a wider net, increase the odds that somebody who needs you is going to be able to find you. Also, it makes the Google search engine happy, and we all know that works to our advantage. If you don't have a mailing list, start to build one. If you do, use it. That is an incredible resource. So reach out to the people on your mailing list on a regular basis. Let them know about a new product or service. Share an interesting news article that you've come across. Share an interesting story that you've come across or an experience that you've had. Mix it up between selling and just providing information and insight, because it is providing that kind of information that helps people see you as an expert, as an authority. And when you are seen as an expert and authority, that also increases the trust. So make use of these kinds of things. Again, it does not have to take you a long time. You don't have to write a 500-page newsletter. It could easily be 3, 4, or 5 sentences. Whatever it takes to get that message out. And the shorter the better, because let's face it, we all get a lot of emails. But if you start to do this on a regular basis, people are more likely to open your emails because they've had a good experience beforehand, right? You told a good story. You shared interesting information. You told them about a product or service that they had no idea about. They will see that as you helping them, as you providing benefit to them, which, let's say it with me, builds your expertise, your authority, which builds your trust. So go for that. Offer to do guest posts on other people's blogs. People are always looking for content. So go ahead, reach out to somebody in a parallel business and maybe work out an agreement. You do guest posts for them, they do one for you, that type of thing. Now, you're going to want to do some posts on your own site before you reach out to do that, because you're going to want to be able to say as part of your pitch to them, hey, go take a look at these examples. These are things that, maybe your audience would be interested in. I could write a custom post for you if you would be interested. And all I ask is a link back. That type of thing. Again, when people start to see you, think about what happens, right, when a star is, going around, or an expert's going around, like Gary Vee, right? Gary Vee doesn't only exist on Gary Vee's channels, right? Gary Vee is constantly being interviewed, and he's putting posts on other people's sites, and he's, writing the foreword in other people's books. That's what we're talking about here. Don't stay in your box. Reach out, because the more places people start to see you, your name, your business name, the greater awareness they're going to get. And again, the more places you are, that implies that the other places you've gone to, those people have a reason to see you as an authority or as an expert and to trust you. And by virtue of that, that increases all three of those in the eyes of the person who has now seen you in these other locations. Whether or not they've known about you before, if they have, great, it's just boosted you up to another level. If they haven't, then they'll be like, well, they might get curious, and then they'd want to backtrack and go learn more about you through your website. Is the gear starting to spin? Is this all starting to make a little sense here? Yes? Okay. All right. Excellent. That was the whole point. offer to write. Again, after you've done some writing on your own site, then maybe reach out if, there's industry or local periodicals that you can, write to. So like those free newspapers that they give to everybody. If there's trade mags or trade sites that you can go and, write for. Those places are usually looking for content. And if you go, there's usually guidelines for submission. There's usually a page of that. You can go and see, are they interested? Because maybe you can recycle some of your blog posts that way. Not word for word, but maybe you take a blog post and you massage it a little bit, shorten it or lengthen it depending on the requirements, and send that out that way. Again, it's just another way for you to, and it's then gives you something, hey, I've been publishing this, all that kind of stuff. You can put that into your about page to boost your credibility again. That's the word. I've been trying to think of the word. That's the word I've been trying to get to all day. Credibility, right? Authority, expertise, trust. Build your credibility. That's the why, this is my time of night. This is when the brain kicks in. That's what you're building towards. Expand your social media presence. If you're only doing it on Facebook, reach out, do, something on Instagram or Pinterest or whatever. But again, don't just stay in the one place. Get your message out. And again, you can repurpose, okay? You can take, a posting that you did on Facebook, and you can then go ahead and put it on Instagram, or you can put it out on Twitter, or you put it on your blog. Reach out, make use of all the tools that are out there. Just make sure that all of these things that you're doing also link back to your website. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. You want people to start to look at your website as the place to go for the information they need that they know you can provide. So super, super helpful. You can also, by the way, you can usually get widgets to embed like Twitter and Pinterest and Instagram onto your website too. So if they want to see what you posted on Instagram or Pinterest or whatever, they could go to those platforms, or even better, they could go to your website and see it there. That's a good thing. Okay, start a weekly or monthly podcast, right? Or if you are already doing it, monthly, maybe try going weekly. If you're doing it weekly, maybe try going twice a week. Increase the frequency of it. Also, again, make yourself available to appear on other people's. Again, that will be easier if you've already started doing your own. You can also just do this as videos, okay? If you're hung up on the live thing, and I get it, a lot of people are, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you'll get over it. So if you're not comfortable doing that, then do a couple of, quick, short, recorded videos that then you can post to all the different places. I will say, I know people get hung up on the live thing, but really in the end, like, live is in a lot of ways easier because you do it and it's done and you can move on to the next thing. Whereas if you're doing a recorded video, you have to record it, you'll take different takes, you'll have to put them together. So I'm just putting that out there. I know people will get a little hung up on the whole, I don't want to be live thing, but it actually is an easier way. And then you can actually take your live, save it down, and then cut little pieces out of it and post like, a 2-minute version, a 2-minute piece of something on your website or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or wherever you like to put it. But, again, repurposing is the way to go. Okay. Speak at local events, right? Toastmasters or your business organization in town. They're always looking for, somebody to come and speak. So step up, do it. Pick a topic. Practice in front of your dog a couple of times, and then you'll be ready to go ahead and do it. People right away will have respect for you because a lot of people are hung up about getting up in front of a crowd. So if you're able to do it, and you can, by the way, if I can do this, you guys can all do that. I promise you that. Just by the virtue of the fact that you're willing to get up there and talk gives you that authority. They see you as an expert. They're going to trust you, right? Because you were brought in by the organization that they're a member of. Okay? And all that leads to your credibility. Create or join groups and share your knowledge. That is huge. So you want to make sure that if you're going to do the groups thing, right? Or if you're going to go and present like at a local organization or club, don't make it a hard sell. Think about your audience and provide value to them for no reason other than you want to provide value to them. And make that an honest thing from your heart. You are just there to share information because you get a lot of questions about this, or people have a lot of questions about this. So put it out there for them. And as you start to do that, and as people start to see that, that right away is going to boost your E.A.T across the board for everybody. And it's a nice thing to do. So, hey, even just from the karma standpoint, it's a good way to go. Teach a course at a local adult eds. So a lot of the school systems, to make use of the rooms and the buildings at night, they'll run the adult ed courses, and you'll see the different kinds of things. Like a lot of them are obviously kid focused, karate class for 10 weeks, or they'll do a yoga class for a couple of weeks. But you can do a 1 or 2 night sessions on a particular topic. And the nice little thing here is they charge people for this. So you get a little piece of whatever they're charging, or you get to, state the price, and then who's ever running it gets a little cut of that. However they do it, they're all structured a little different. But take a topic that would be of interest to a group of your potential customers or your industry members, right? And do that. Again, don't stress over it. Keep it to 1 night, 2 nights. They run anywhere between 30 and 90 minutes usually. So pick whichever one you feel you can get useful content in. But again, don't do it from the buy, sell. Do it from, hey, I have information. You might find this helpful. Let's get together and we'll talk about it. And, have a structured plan, but leave enough time for conversation and questions and openings to make sure that everybody can, feel that give and take and get that benefit out of it. And then another way to do this similar type of thing, usually you're not going to sell for these, but you could, but usually you're not going to, but run webinars. Webinars are a great way to establish yourself as an authority, as an expert. And you're going to be seen as trustworthy if you show up, you present it in a polished but not overly formal format, and that you are providing useful content. If you're answering questions, all of that is going to help, again, feed into what we're talking about here, right? It's all of these. So that's just like a handful of things. And like I said, you don't have to do all of them. Don't get overwhelmed by this, but pick one here, one there, give it a try for a little while, start to build on it, and then continue to build. Take the things that you're doing, repurpose them. Then, maybe take another one off the list and try that for a while. And then keep working at it. Like I said, none of this is quick fix. But you just keep chipping away at it. You just keep building on top of it. I'm mixing metaphors there. You will start to get that. You'll start to see it coming back to you. And the more you do this as something that is just you putting the information out there for the people who need it, the easier it gets for you, and the more people are going to start to come to you for this kind of information and start to recommend you, suggest you, link to you, all that kind of good stuff. The whole trick here, okay, there's 2. To get over yourself, and I'm sorry, that may be harsh, but that is what we're talking about, okay? You need to get over yourself to get out there. And like I said, a couple of years ago, if anybody seriously suggested to me that I'd be doing this, I would have laughed in their face. Here I am. Okay? Focus on the benefit, the help that you can provide somebody. Whatever business you're in, whatever service, product you have, at some point, it really comes down to, wants and needs. And if you focus on those with whichever one of these you pick and the content you provide, you'll stop being so worried about what they think of me, my voice, how I look, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be... All that will go away because you're going to be focusing on that person, right? And even if you're talking to a group of people, you're focusing on that person because that keeps it from being overwhelming. That keeps it focused on what they're looking for. And make sure then the 2 is the content that you're providing is from their need, their want point of view. Okay, don't make this a hard sell. Make sure you're getting it out there. So I'm just going to go back real quick, and we'll just real quick go through this list again of how you can establish it, and then I'll answer any questions that you guys have. Okay, so again, your website is the place to start. Make sure it's there. Make sure it's fresh and up to date, and keep going back and updating it and keeping it fresh. Your Google My Business, absolutely got to go and do that. Make use of your email list. Offer to do guest posts on other people's blogs, or, well, on their podcasts, on their live stream, in their videos, whatever. Write for local periodicals or industry periodicals. Again, you don't have to be, Neil Gaiman or Isaac Asimov, right? You don't have to be the best writer on the planet. You need to be able to communicate cleanly and clearly on the topic that you're talking about. That's it. The bar is very reasonable on that. Expand your social media presence and keep it up to date. Keep it fresh. Keep it out there. If you're doing it just once or twice a quarter, do it a lot more than that. Start, if you haven't already, a weekly, monthly podcast or live stream, and then go and appear on other people's after you've got some that they can go and look at. Speak at local events. Keep an ear out. There's always stuff going on. They're always looking for somebody to provide content. Be one of those people. Create or join groups. Now, this includes Facebook groups, but it could also be meetups or whatever it is that catches your attention that you think is going to attract your audience. Go do that. Teach at a local adult ed classes or the schools. It's not really local adult education school. It's sessions at the local schools. You know what I mean. Run webinars. They're a huge win, a huge way to go out and reach a large number of people, and they are extremely cost efficient. So you can talk to 10, hundreds, thousands of people for a very reasonable amount, and it's relatively easy to run. If you need help with that kind of stuff, you can hire people to do that just for the session, right? You can have somebody help you with the tech, help you manage the questions, fill for you if you need to cough or get a quick sip of tea or water. So there are resources out there like me who provide that kind of help. Same thing with the live streaming. If you want to take your live streaming to the point where maybe you want to do stuff like this, right? Or maybe you want, let me bring this up. Maybe you want to bring a QR code up, right? Or you want a lower third, or you want to do some kind of transitioning. We'll transition. So we'll do a fun one. All right. If you want that kind of effect, and you can't do it on your own, there's nothing wrong with that. You can hire somebody like me who can manage that part of it for you. So don't be afraid to reach out for help if that's what you need. But don't let needing that help stop you. Start with something you can do by yourself and then build off of that. Sound good? All right, I'm just doing one more check here because it looked like my comment catching tool went south. And it did. Because yes, okay, hi. Hi there. Yes, good to see you over on, that's Michael. Hi, Michael, over on YouTube. Good to see you. Okay, so that's what we've got. You do want to pay attention to this. You do want to make sure that you are establishing and then building off of your expertise, your authority, your trustworthiness. You want people to start to see this from you, and the only way to do that is to do a little bit every day so that you start going forward. Some of this is as simple as being available to answer a potential customer or a customer's questions. Being available to answer a question for a supplier. It's that easy to start. Somebody asks you a question, you provide them a helpful answer, maybe follow up, make sure that they understood it, see if there's anything else you can help them with. That kind of being helpful, providing information, that kind of goodwill, that's where this all starts. That's really what all of these things are at the core. So jump in and do that. All right. We will be back next week. So I'm here on Facebook, on Mixer, and on YouTube, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I do hope you will come back. If you are finding this helpful, I do hope that you will like, follow, subscribe, give the thumbs up and hearts, where you are. Share the link with whoever you think would benefit from it, because then you're establishing your expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. See how this all works? If you have questions, comments, if you have ideas for the show, if you have something that you want me to cover on a show, go to yourtechcoach.net. There's a contact form there, and just let me know what it is. If you need a fast answer, that's fine too. Just let me know in the message and let me know how to get back in touch with you, and I'm more than happy to reach out and let you know. All right, everybody, I hope you're having a great week, and we will see you again next week. Bye.